What's going on YouTube? West Hobbies RC. So today we are back with a video on how to properly balance your helicopter and why the CG balance of your helicopter is important. Now we are doing this video on the SAB Raw 420. We're just going to use this for an example, but this technique and this method goes for all helicopters regardless of the size, from little to big. So go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Remember, Patreon and PayPal are linked in every video description if you'd like to help support me. Let's get started. So now first we're going to go over why balancing the helicopter is very important and how to CG your helicopter for it to fly properly. When you're balancing a helicopter, you got to think about it as the helicopter is flying off of this center line, off your main shaft, off the disc here. So as if the helicopter is tail heavy or nose heavy, as the helicopter comes up into a hover, it's going to want to drift backwards or drift forward. Now, yes, your flybarless unit will make up for a lot of that, but to have a perfectly set up model, this is very critical. So now, in order to balance your helicopter, after you build, you have your battery and you have your battery tray. Now, this is a 3D printed battery tray. My battery's already fixed onto the tray. But what I usually do before I secure my battery to the tray is I will just Velcro it, strap it to the tray, and I will slide the battery forward or backwards, put it in the helicopter, and start there. Now, on bigger machines like the Raw 580, Kraken 700s, Raw 700s, your battery trays, and this is for any helicopter, it doesn't have to be Align, Oxy, doesn't matter. Put your battery on, and you slide your battery forward and backwards. So you end up with your battery at a location similar to this. You might have to move it back, and it also depends on the weight of the battery. The type of the battery that you're using will also depend on where your battery location needs to be in the helicopter. So let's go ahead, slide our battery in, and let's check for balance. So now we have our battery in the helicopter. We have everything positioned the way our helicopter is going to be flight ready. So what we want to do is you want to put your blades, you're going to tilt the helicopter onto its side, and your blades are going to go vertically. Now pay attention to which way your one-way bearing is. So on all helicopters, they have a one-way bearing regardless if they're direct drive or not, and that will affect it. So the way I personally do it is I put the head of the helicopter to me. My blades are vertical, helicopter is towards me, the canopy is towards me. Boom is to the right, nose is to the left. I will grab my helicopter by the head here, and then I will just put the helicopter straight onto its side, similar to this. The helicopter is perfectly level, so this helicopter is balanced perfectly. Now, if it was nose heavy, the nose would drop. If it was tail heavy, the tail would drop. And then you could always flip the helicopter around to check with your one-way and make sure that it's still perfectly balanced. The helicopter is perfectly straight. Again, if it was nose heavy, it would drop. If it was tail heavy, it would drop. And this works for both 2-bladed and 3-bladed helicopters. Now, the same method applies to nitro helicopters. This is going to be the same thing. Now, with nitro helicopters, you would just depend on the size of your flight pack, would depend on the balance of the helicopter. So we have a small flight pack in this one, 2S2250, so it's going to probably be tail heavy. So again, we're going to rock the helicopter to us. Blades are going to go vertically. We're going to grab it by the head, and we're going to pick it straight up. And you can see the tail's dropping. The tail's dropping. This helicopter is tail heavy. And again, we'll rotate it around here just to make sure that our one-way bearing isn't causing the issue. Tail heavy. So this helicopter needs a bigger battery to be properly balanced. One way I have seen done a lot to balance a helicopter is they keep it skids down, the blades are still opposing, and they take their 2 fingers and they pick it up under the blade grip. Now, this will get you an idea. Now, you know, tail is still down, but this isn't as accurate as picking the helicopter up onto its head and then letting go. You can see how much more tail heavy the model is this way versus when you grab it even from behind with your 2 fingers by the head and pick it up this way. The helicopter looks balanced, a little bit on the tail heavy side, but again, when you actually balance it the right way, it is a tail heavy helicopter. So you would adjust your battery size accordingly on a nitro, and of course you could do it with the tank empty. The tank is pretty much on your center line on the helicopter, so it will be a little different from full to empty, but you always want to balance it with a full tank and then move your battery accordingly. So now for speed helicopters, I grabbed the mini Comet to display this because the big Comet's too hard to try to do this with. When you want to go fast with speed helicopters, on 3D helicopters, you want them to be balanced perfectly level. On speed helicopters, you want them to be nose heavy. So even on a small helicopter, you would balance it the same way. Rotor blades would be vertically, and you can see the nose drops down. This helicopter is set nose heavy, and that's the way you want. And again, on 3D helicopters, you would want the helicopter to be balanced perfectly level. And this is drive no one way, so you can still see that it will still drop its nose. And again, we can go ahead, rotate it the other way, and it still will drop its nose. So there's two different ways of the style of balancing for your helicopter. Speed helicopters, you want them to be nose heavy. 3D helicopters, you want them to be balanced perfectly level. Now, it is the same regardless of the brand, the size of the battery. If you're using stick packs or big 12S packs, you would just position them on your battery tray accordingly to your helicopter balance setup. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this quick little video. I hope it helps some of you out on how to balance your helicopter properly and the proper ways to balance your helicopter, regardless if it's a micro to a full 700 or bigger. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and remember, Patreon and PayPal are linked in every video description if you'd like to help support me. And if you don't want to do any of that, just give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps big time with the algorithm, everything on YouTube, and pushes the channel farther and farther out there. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and have a great day.